Hey, today we're going to look at the AIT5263 fusing machine. Actually, the one that you're looking at here is a 5263, i.e. 63 inches wide. But what you're going to see, most of it, is going to apply to all of the 5200 series that we make. 27 inches, 32 inches, 40 inches, 54, and 63. 63 inches is the widest that we go in this model, but another series will go even wider if need be. So, yep, 5263 is a top and bottom conveyorized belt fusing system or laminating system. I've got covers off and a number of things so that we can take a quick run through and you can see how things are constructed and some of the features, etc. So you're looking at the input conveyor. Of course, this is the bottom belt. So the bottom belt is continuous, and then we'll take product into the heat chamber. The heat chamber that we'll look at closer here in a few minutes, you know, has top and bottom heat. So these are alternating heat channels, and then a set of pressure rollers at the end that combine the product, and then an exit cooling conveyor that we'll take a look-see at. But back to the bottom, back to the belts on these machines. Of course, these are PTFE Teflon belts. This one, I have rotated it so the seam is in front. This is a overlapping seam with a reinforcing material, thin reinforcing material over the seam itself so that we can minimize any of the roughness here, etc. And then it's on an angle, not sure if you can see that, but by having it at a 5 to 7 degree angle, that seam doesn't go through the pressure rollers all at one time. It's at an angle, and that increases belt life. Now, let me say something about the 5200 series. If you had a product where you just couldn't have a seam in a belt, then not to worry, this machine will take seamless belts. Seamless belts are a little more expensive, but so what is this equipment has the ability for the belts to be changed without being welded, in other words, continuously. And you can ask your AIT rep for more information on that. So that's an option. These machines are standard with a touchscreen PLC. So you can see the interface here and that everything is touchscreen. There, I just turned the belt on and we're moving. This is, of course, to turn the heat on. This is to reverse. This is a fan blower that's in the exit cooling conveyor that pulls air through the product in order to cool it more than just being on the exit cooling conveyor. Yes, we're actually pulling air through the product to try to pull some of that temperature out. So I'll turn that off and conserve the noise. So we've got temperature controls here. Everything is in Celsius, and it is, I don't know, intuitive, kind of self-explanatory. Some people you know, have commented on touchscreen PLC. Isn't that a little bit much for a fusing machine? But the economics and things are here from a big advantage. One, the PLC has the temperature controls in there, so you used to have 2 temperature controls, and that PID loop is built into the touchscreen PLC. The touchscreen PLC also controls the motor, the pressure, and gives you a lot of other cool features too. So we found them not only economical, but bring in a whole new set of features to the equipment too. I kind of skipped over the utilities. Basically, you've got electricity and compressed air. So both of those are in the front here. And the electricity in this case is 220 volt 3-phase. This machine comes with about a 10, 15 foot cord, wire, whatever you want to say, that you take back to a junction box. We've just got our junction box on the floor here, but this machine pulls about 100 amps. So yep, comes pre-wired with a cord included, and then the compressed air hooks up on the right hand side looking at the machine, and there is controls over there and a water trap and all the normal things. And then the machine, actually, let me turn it on here so we'll have it running for a minute. Let's see if I'm right here. So the machine stops running and has an audible alarm if the compressed air goes off. Now the so what of that is that, put the air back on here. Okay, we're back looking at the 5263, and if you were with me before, I unhooked the compressed air and the alarm went off because that's a safety feature. We don't want to run the machine without compressed air because there's belt tracking, and without the compressed air, then the belt will wander off and not be tracked back to the center. And then of course I couldn't manage the phone, the video, and hooking up the compressed air again. So new video. Hey, speaking of belt tracking, this has a system on it that we really like. See if I can see it here. So you can see this kind of horseshoe shaped sensor here. In fact, you have a green and a red light. The red light says that the belt is indeed in here and it's activated a tracking roller, and that's a non-contact sensor that is reading the edge of the belt and then throwing the adjustments in on a roller to track the belt back to the center. So this is the tracking sensor, and then there's an additional sensor here. You can see this is a contact one, and this is the same kind of technology as we used to use. This sensor here is in the event the belt travels too far, it'll stop the machine. But it's a contact sensor, and it sets off an alarm as well. And so yes, this the equipment used to have two of those, one to track the belt and one for the emergency. And then we changed this to this non-contact sensor because these touch sensors here, as you can see, were subject to kind of harm belt life because these would be touching the belt constantly, eventually would fold the belt up like that and shorten belt life. So the new non-contact is really fantastic. Still making it changes and advancements in fusing technology after 20 or 30 years, would you believe it? So here we've got this is going to be a top element, and this is going to be a bottom element, and of course the belts go through here. This particular element, in addition to the wires going in, you can see the thermocouple wire, so that's how we sense the temperature on the top, and then there's one where we sense the temperature on the bottom as well. So yes, that is, I've got the cover off. These are nice insulated covers. Let's see if I can do this without ruining something. So these are nice insulated covers that go on the machine to keep the heat in, because there would be a lot of heat loss here. Got a back cover. It swings up as need be. And then where the belts split apart in the back, you can see the orange silicone rollers here. Those are the pressure rollers. And then we've got what's called scraper blades. So these Teflon coated aluminum blades ensure that the product comes off of the belt, goes onto the exit conveyor, which is turning about 10% faster. And then you heard the motor of the vacuum, where we pull compressed air out, where we pull ambient air through the product to cool it down. Here's the other side of the machine. This whole side are pneumatics. So you've got, compressed air does a couple things here. Tracks the belts back and forth, and then also is charged with activating the pressure rollers. Nice safety here from the standpoint of a safety guard over the driven sprockets and so forth. And take a quick shot at some more of the electronics. Here's the electronics. We've got, of course, a motor control at the very end there. You see just afterwards is the green main motor itself, the PLC, and then breakers and solid state relays, fans to keep the relays at the proper operating temperature. So breakers versus fuses here, and then you can see a nice neat job on tidying up electrical wires and keeping everything together, keeping them separated from compressed air tubing. This is a tracking cylinder that you're looking at here. So yeah, hope that helps. That's a quick overview of the 5200 series fusing and laminating equipment from AIT.